Okay, I have to answer this because Kyle keeps going on about stuff he doesn't know about. I don't know why. It's almost like, you want these people to talk about a subject, but then when they do, you're like, you're basically saying stuff from Fox News. Can we please stop? Can we please stop equating mental illness to homelessness? Mental illness affects everybody, and that's not why our situation happens. So every time you say that, the public takes it as people are mental and that's why they're homeless. So you need to stop. There's nothing that equates those two. And sure enough, there's a lot of them that are mentally ill, but Trump is mentally ill, and the people that are running around without masks and sacrificing their children to Trump is basically they're mentally ill. They are. They believe in things that are not real. So that I don't even want to get into that. They do need care, doctor care in general for anyone. Doesn't matter your class. This starts getting into class picking on crap, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop. I'm not even going to agree with this because it's not fundamentally true. It's not fundamentally true. It's trying to equate something, correlation to something where it actually affects a lot of people. Look at all the celebrities that died of drug overdoses. Wow, we don't pick on them. Those guys are victims. Whatever, you know what I mean? So, yeah, we kind of need to stop that, and celebrities are not special, and goddamn Katy Perry's a predator, and she's playing the whole game. I don't even want to talk about her today. So, this situation, it's funny because he put the title, Homeless People Given Hotel Rooms in LA. It's like, yeah, that was something that they've been doing. I don't know what happened here. So I had a complaint about it a long time ago. So when I lived with LAPD, which is why the first situation happened, yes, which has nothing to do with my mental health, which there's documented proof that I had to call on them several times, and they got covered for, and they got threatened with being arrested. Not me, them. So then they caused me to flee, obviously, because that's domestic violence. And we went right into an illegal home. And the city was involved in that because the city knew the house was illegal. And the city kissed my ass to be able to come in and take photos of it. Because the city had been wanting to take photos of the inside of the property for a very long time. So what did the city do? The city turned on me. For no frick reason. Gee, I wonder why. Could it be something to do with the corrupt LAPD pimps of mine? Yeah, that's probably it. That's totally probably it. Because that's a legal case on its own. It's illegal, and the city cannot hold me to rent on a property that's illegal that they were demanding a teardown. So by law, if the city demands a teardown, the city needs to pay me. Not even the landlord, dude. This whole situation pisses me off because I lost a lot of things in that situation, and it has zero to do with my mental health. Now, causing me to go homeless is going to cause some mental health issues if you're sitting there being thrown on the street. I think that's pretty shitty. So I think people need to get that shit straight, and they need to stop equating the two together because that affects everyone. If it was a thing that didn't affect everybody, then you can go, oh, this is an issue and they're all mentally ill and that's why they're homeless. Then you could say something like that. But you can't because you guys hate science. You guys hate facts. You guys hate to even report on the truth of anything. So here's some facts for you that you're not going to like. Well, it's more than 20% of where government's blowing money, not housing people. It's actually more than 20%. So what was the cost per head person a month? It was like $4,000, wasn't it? Let me see. Homeless people. Let's see. Homeless people cost per fucking person was like $4,000. Yes, there it is. That's more than 20%. Oh yes, it is. So if you handed me $4,000, I would be able to rent a pretty damn nice big ass place and have a lot of money left over. If you're getting that much a month and you're suffering, you suck at your math and you don't know how to spend your money. So that's another thing. You live above your means. That's the whole thing right there. So anyway, $4,000 a month, you can be fairly comfortable out here. I mean, you're not going to probably be running, well, I don't know. You could be running around with some stuff if you want to use your credit and all sorts of stuff. But you could be very comfortable with that. So why doesn't government give you just the $4,000 then? If they're going to be spending $4,000 per person, why don't they just hand it to you? Hell, even half that, $2,000. Then, then you can kind of give some work room so somebody works and stuff and has like at least their basic income for the month to make sure that their bills are paid. Yeah. You would save 50%. 50%. A minimum of 50%. 50%. $4,000 a month. Oh my God. I keep thinking about this and I'm just like, no. But this is government. Government is choosing to blow money because they hate people. That's the difference. And they also have this assumption that everybody's mentally ill and they're all on drugs. And so they're going to take that $4,000 and just go snort it up their nose. That's what government thinks. Because government is a fucking idiot. So, no. No, as you could see, it's a lot more than just that. Because right now, everybody's in that position. And do you see government even giving you $2,000 a month? Yeah. That should tell you the shit-ass government that we have. And I'm not voting for any of them. You guys can sit there and say all these things and people are racist because they don't like this woman and sexist over this. They're racist because they go for Trump. Every single person that's running right now is a piece of shit. And I'm not morally voting for any of them. I'm telling you, we've already been set on this. So I can give a shit less what they do. Everything's rigged. So if they want to sit there and stop mail-in votes, and they already stopped me from voting during the first Trump. How come only on this election is it that I walk into a polling station and the person doesn't let me vote? In all my years, since 92, when I can vote, whenever that was, whenever that election was, I have never had a situation like that in my life. And women had to fight for the right to vote. And the fact that I went to go in there, that another damn ass bitch fucking stopped me from voting. Can you believe that? But that's in this past couple years because it's all corrupt. And it's just slowly been getting worse. Now, same with this hotel thing. It's not a new concept, guys. That was actually something that was included. That was included in the DPSS office. So if you went in, you have no shelter, right? And this is at a time when there wasn't really a lot of, there still isn't shelters, but there was some places around, right? So they had some coalitions and stuff, and they were running some stuff. And so you could get into that. And during the winter time only, because they think in the summer you could just go lay down somewhere in the 110-degree heat and not have a heat stroke. But anyway, they had this thing going on. And during that, if you went into DPSS at that time, they would give you a hotel voucher. So then they would give you a hotel voucher and you'd have to renew it, and it would last a couple weeks, max. And so I made this complaint about that situation, and I said, it's really, well, there's two complaints on that situation. So the first one was, it was only short term. It did nothing for you. They didn't give it for people with pets, right? So then the hotel people would make them keep their pets outside, and if you try to sneak them in, then they try to kick you out. On top of that, they didn't care if there was any sexual predators at that hotel, like the hotel owner, because something happened there where they had to stop sending people to that hotel and then it had roaches, right? So it had roaches, bugs, people had to stay in there and they had bugs, everything. It wasn't up to par. It was a slum hotel. So these are the hotels that they put you in because they think you're all trash, right? This is classism. This is hate. This is everything. This isn't, this is a great thing. They give you a hotel voucher. No, it's basically throwing in the garbage still. So they would renew it for, I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 weeks, right? And then after that, then they just tossed you. And that's where I was like, yeah, I don't really get that whole thing right there. And then all of a sudden, when the fire happened, right? So that time was at the time of LAPD, right? That's the time of LAPD. That's where it landed me when LAPD made their threats. I have all the documents, and I've showed it to you, son of a bitches. So every time the LAPD has a problem and they go and make threats after me and retaliate, this is what they do. So this is the one thing that they did. Well, I guess that was too much, because then during the fire, now we have a different situation, though it's still dealing with the city and housing. The city and housing and LAPD are all together because they're all jackass, corrupt, piece of shit mobsters. But anyway, as we dealt with the city again, with the damn bad, really bad, really bad place, and the city knew actually because they kept coming to my door. And so they want me to get thrown out. See, as you see what happened here, there's a reason why we don't deal with the city, because we have a past history of dealing with the city. And every time the city gets involved, they pretend like they're my best friend. And then they turn around and do something illegal and corrupt and like trying to throw me out. So in this situation, they did that again, where they went against the law and gave the person longer than they needed to fix the place before to allow retaliation, which they're not supposed to do. So what they're supposed to do, we already said this because we've been through this before, is that when the place is not up to par, not up to code, not up to legal standards to rent, it's illegal to rent out, period. Now, what the government does is gives them plenty enough time, about 30 days or so, to get it up to code. And if it's an illegal property, such as a garage conversion, then they tell them to tear it down. Or, they're going to have to tear it down, start over, get permits, the proper permits, and do that whole thing, because they built it without the permits. So, no matter what, you're going to have to get thrown out in a situation like that. So then the government needs to make sure that you're not out on your ass because you fell and you're a victim, right? You're a victim. So in a situation with the slum housing, and it's a legal property, then they give them plenty enough time to fix that shit. And then during that time, the owners always lie. They always lie. They're like rapists. They lie. They're not going to sit there and say I raped them. They're not going to sit there and say they're going to say all sorts of stuff to say like the other person's not letting them in. And I'm sitting there, nope, we're keeping tabs of this. And the funniest thing is I gave them 5 years to fix stuff. 5 years. I think I'm a nice person. Like, I give people a big rope to hang themselves with. And why is it that at the end of it, I'm the one that gets stabbed? I'm just wondering. Because in this situation, I kept telling them I was being very nice to them. In fact, I bought them gifts. I bought them gifts during the holidays. I sent them food baskets and candy baskets and everything. And I said, by the way, can we get this situation fixed? Because it is screwing up everything in my home. And there's all these problems. And I'm literally paying them even $50 more a month than I need to. And so it's not like I'm not giving my, a fair thing here. And I didn't snitch on them to the city when the city asked me the first time. So, but the city already knew because there was a lot of complaints on this, right? So regardless if I told them or not, the city already knew, so that's already corrupt right there. So the city was already supposed to come in and fix the situation because other people reported it, right? So you don't need me. You don't need me at all. So, but anyway, they came and bugged me twice. In the 5 years there, they came and bothered me twice. And I kept trying to give these people a chance to hurry up and fix it. And so they started to, and then just let it go. And then as I'd be taping and doing my business, my fucking work, then there'd be bugs crawling all over the place and going into my brand new stuff and eating up electrical sockets and all these crazy things, right? And then there was a gas leak, a carbon monoxide thing. There was all sorts of stuff. And still, I gave them all these chances. So anyway, I finally had to break it down because they send this guy over to me. I don't even know who this guy is. I've been there for 5 years. I've only talked to women. And I'm sitting there going, I was friends with the property management, like the people that were taking care of the whole thing, and also the lady that stays, she's a site manager. I was friends with her. And so I'm friends with all these people. Like, there's no anything going on. I was like, I feel so lucky because I don't have a pervert trying to, do weird stuff right now. All of a sudden they send me this guy. I'm like, here we go. Every time there's a man involved, then it turns bad. Like, I don't know what it is. So I never met him before. He comes yelling at me at my door. And he was wrong. He was actually in the wrong. Never apologized for it. And then started riding my ass. And then he starts doing this retaliation crap. And I'm like, you know what? I can't, these people will not fix this stuff. And I'm sitting here, I'm trying to get my business to a new level, right? So I'm sitting here, I'm frustrated, and I got shit. I bought a, oh my God, I had a brand new refrigerator. It wasn't brand new, but I had just bought this refrigerator that was really expensive from this other lady from the other house that I was staying at before I downsized from a home into this piece of shit apartment, thinking I'm going to be able to save a lot of money so I could buy a house, because this is our only goal in life, because I don't care about anything else right now. So I move into this place, and and sure enough, like within a couple months or so, it stopped working. And I'm sitting there going, wait, I just paid all this money for this damn refrigerator, and it's gigantic, and I just paid all this money to have it transferred here. And I'm sitting here going, okay, well, I need to hurry up and get a new refrigerator today because I got all my food in there. Everything's going to go to hell. And oh my God, what do I do? And I go and have to charge this thing on a credit thing. They come and take the refrigerator and give me that other one, and it's all smaller and not as nice, not anywhere. It was like probably about half the price of it, but they charge me more for it. Get it? And I'm sitting here, I go to plug it in, and the damn thing don't work. And I realized it was the electrical socket. So I literally just gave a brand new refrigerator to these son of a bitches to take, and I saw it for sale online. That shit pissed me off. That shit right there pissed me off. There's nothing I can do about it because I didn't bother to think, oh, maybe I should check a different outlet. But anyway, so I get at my, this situation is happening because of the entire building, okay? So so they had to keep coming in, changing electrical sockets, doing all this stuff, okay? And it was cutting into my work. Then I started getting ill from the situation. Again, this is on the city. This is on the city, man. This is on the city right there. So we go into battle again. And here they are allowing the owner to retaliate and even get a court date before he was even demanded to fix it. That is not supposed to happen, and I don't know why it happened. But then, so then what happens is, in a situation like that, then if you're not witty enough to get a lawyer, then you're screwed, right? So we got a lawyer. So anyway, and we already talked about how the lawyer screwed me there. So yes, this is a ongoing thing, has zero. Where do I hear you guys talking about any of that? Zero. We are hardworking people. There's not a day in my life that I haven't worked. The only time that I couldn't work, and I still have my business, is during the fire. If I cannot work in my home, then we're not going to be making any money. You know, it's like if you're going to have this interruption like this, you're going to fuck up my business and someone's going to pay for it, right, LA County? There's so many labor things that the county owes me for, not only for the one I already reported, but this situation right here. So they caused me and my business to go straight to shit. I cannot believe, you guys, they caused my business to almost completely collapse, even to this day. Like, it's almost like I can't even pull it out because of this situation. They made me homeless. That is a huge dent into my brand. That harms my brand, like, to no end because of my brand. So, yes, and people find that out, and people want to have a heyday with it, and other girls, okay, because they're fucking bitches. But anyway, there's a whole thing with that. So they harm my brand. There's almost no coming back from that. Like, we've tried everything under the sun. There's literally no coming back from that. So they did that. So someone's going to pay for it. Now, as we just said, that the county normally gives a hotel voucher for a couple weeks, at least. They normally do, okay? So when the fire happened and I got stuck in the fire, and they keep pretending like I wasn't in this fire because LAPD and them are trying to murder me. Because they don't like snitches, they don't like anybody, they don't like whistleblowers, they don't like any of that, okay? And I don't know why the media held that out, but the media also held out some other information from you guys. So, when the county went and had this big fire get together, so once Red Cross threw everybody out on the street, every fire victim out on the street, they just dumped everybody. I didn't read this in the paper, but this is what they did, and I'm more credible than any of these son of a bitches, LA Times, and any of them. So they literally dumped everybody out on the street, and then they said, go over into Lakeview Terrace because they have this big gathering for resources, right? So who were the resource? Why the fuck would you need LAPD as a resource when they threw you out on the street? Can you guys answer me that? I don't know why they were there. They were a waste of time being there. So who else was there? The fire department. Well, I could see the fire department being there in case you actually lost your damn house and I don't know why you need to talk to them. I guess because to see how much of your house is jacked up and when you can go back over there. They make more sense. LAPD does not. So then there was a DPSS office, right? So if you lost everything in the fire, you're going to need some darn welfare. So trust that. So there was a lot of people there trying to get this welfare. Now, with this, they're normally supposed to give you a hotel voucher. So Red Cross and this guy at the Red Cross said, yes, you guys need to go down there because they're giving out hotel vouchers. So I get over there and they tell me, no, who told you that? Like everybody else, right? But then when I talk to DPSS, okay, this is where it gets really interesting. So I had already gone into DPSS prior to this situation, right? They said they didn't give the hotel vouchers at this office, and I don't know why. So, and I was like, nobody's reporting this. No media's reporting this. No media gives a shit because they think all homeless people are drug addicts and mentals, so they don't give a shit about them because it's all classist, right? All the media, okay? So then, I'm sitting here going, that's odd because they normally do. So what's going on? When did that get cut off and why is there no shelter here? So you can't do both these things. You can't remove all shelters and then not give any hotel vouchers. Okay, so this is what they did. So this is what Eric Garcetti and all them did. They removed all shelters. So there wasn't even a shelter. There was no damn shelter anywhere. And I actually taped me getting into it with 211, okay? So, no, I documented all this crap. Because I'm like, no, we're going to file something so huge on this county. You guys can keep coming at me, but it's going to happen, bitches. So, this happened. So, then they go, the media's right there, right? So, they had these little bleachers for the fake-ass media in the back, and they just sat there and didn't answer. I don't know what the hell they were doing. But they didn't talk to me, and I came back to talk to them, and they took off. I'm like, well, that figures, because they're not running the story right. And, of course, they're not getting any of the information. So I know a lot of information. I know so much more information than the people even in the fire, right? So some of these people that were in the fire probably wouldn't have an idea that DPS normally gives a hotel voucher, la, 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 that whole thing. So I sat there with the guy, and I go, yeah, I actually asked them and they said they didn't. And so he's telling me, he's like, no, yeah, they have them. You just need to go down there. And I go, no. She said, no, they don't. They're not giving them over there at this one office. This one office is the one that needs the investigation. This one office, the one in San Fernando Valley, in San Fernando, I think the city, there's a big long street where like most of the homeless go and they kind of die there. Yeah, then the GPS office is over there, and I don't know what the hell I don't know when they started that and what the hell's going on over there, but that particular office needs to be investigated. With all their legal docs, they were trying to falsify information on the legal docs. They were forcing me to try to check off boxes. That's illegal as fuck, mostly on a government document. So there's all these things. So I ran that by my attorney and everything else. There's a whole thing with that. So then, they go, oh my God. So they told me, they're like, you need to go run over there right now. And I literally had no gas, and I was sitting there going there so I can get some cash aid, right? And, then there was one organization. So I talked about that organization. It's a Buddhist organization, not even Christian, okay? A Buddhist organization that literally gave out $100, credit cards, right? So I was like, oh my God, you guys are like, I feel lucky today because I need it for gas, okay, and other stuff. So I was like, that was unexpected. And that's the only people there, not government. Government gave zero cash aid, zero cash aid, okay? And even after I went to the DPSS office, right? So they tell me to go rush on over there, and it was like 5:45 at night, I think, and they closed at 6. Some weird thing like that, or it was 4:45 and they closed at 5. Anyway, so they had me rushing all the way over there. I had no gas, nothing. And I go running in there, and I'm like, so I go in there, and I tell them, I go, yeah, the DPSS over here at the fire thing said that you guys give hotel vouchers, and then I'm supposed to get my, they were supposed to give me GR, right? Temporary. So they got all my bank stuff and everything, right? So I gave them all that, right? And so I gave them all of it. Like, what do they need? They don't need anything else. I gave them the recommended, what they told me to give them. And it was drop shipped, right? It was drop mail, whatever they did on their phone. So, like, I gave it to him there. He dropped it on the phone into the DPSS office. There's trails to you know what about all that. So then I go down there, and she's like, wouldn't give me the GR. Then she said, no, we don't do the hotel vouchers here at all. So then I drive all the way back to tell that guy. The media leaves, right? Oh my God, this pissed me off so bad, because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go off and tell the media all the shit. Where are they? And I go, where's the media? And they go, oh, I don't know. They were on those bleachers, and now they left. I'm like, why the hell did they leave? You guys told them to leave, didn't you? Because you know I'm going to chat with them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the hell happened here. So then the media leaves, all of them, and these fools are like, well, I don't know what to say, because that doesn't make any sense, because they're supposed to give them, right? That's all they said. They're like, they're supposed to give them. And so right now, that's why I'm like reading this, and you guys are acting like that's like some magical thing. Like, they were supposed to be doing that. They were supposed to be doing that. So why did they stop? That's the question. So media didn't even get into that. So I'm like, why did they stop giving them at that office, that particular office out in the valley? And then why was it for only a few weeks anyway? And why is it that government, like, if you couldn't get forced to work, then they deem you crazy? So it's not scientific, guys. They literally just have some guy going, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, whatever, get through the system, get out of here. There's nothing, there's no factual statistics on anything going on right now. Just understand that. When you understand that, don't believe anything you hear. Unless it's coming from the people who it affected, like me, myself. Zero to do with mental illness, okay? And we do know that there are some out there who are, but that's a very small percentage compared to people that have money who are mentally ill. Like, that just doesn't equate. So I would like to tell you guys to stop equating those two things together and stop saying it, because it's hate speech. It is definite hate speech. It is basic. So you're going to start getting into the whole thing where poor people are criminals. The progressive have already done this, and it's going to come back on you like Hillary Clinton with her damn super predator shit. Don't do it. Don't say it. Stop yourself from doing it. The facts are not there for that. There's nothing that backs it. There's nothing that backs it. I'm a science person. I did really well in science. I would not be saying this type of shit. I wouldn't. You guys are. There's nothing that backs it. There's nothing in your viewpoint that even points to that. Nothing. Zero. Blah. But what it does is, if the media does not tell you that the city literally banned all shelters because the rich Karens don't want them in the area, and then now they leave it where now there was nowhere for them to go, and then it caught them into a situation where then now LAPD goes and targets them all. And it's a no-win situation, dude. And that's evil. That's pure evil. And ACLU can suck a, you know what. I already talked to ACLU. They are crap. They literally were fighting against me on a couple things. So they think that only people of color have a problem with the cops. I'm like, no. And also, they did not go into the whole thing where they were fighting against the SOL, trying to keep the SOL for sex crimes, okay? And then totally ignored that the cops were raping women. That's ACLU. And they always act like, oh, you know, we're all doing this. It's like, no, you sent me a thing saying that you don't have enough funds. But yet, when you have enough funds, you're getting a tank of money from celebrities. I'm seeing celebrities giving you millions of dollars all over the place. So I don't know what you're doing with those funds. You just gave a false excuse because you didn't think something was important enough. That's exactly what happened, ACLU. So yeah, we have that problem. So ACLU didn't take any of my stuff seriously at all. Then they transferred me on, oh my goodness, what was it? Human rights. There was a human rights thing. It's a big one, and I can't think of who they are right now. Anyway, so I contacted them. They give me a wrong number to some wacko in San Francisco, and the guy's like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. They're the ones that transfer me to you." And he's like, "I have nothing to do with that." Yeah, that's what's going on there for the human rights thing. I have to think of who it is. Amnesty. One of those people. One of those people did this to me, and this was a couple years back. So I was like, "What in the hell?" So yeah, no, there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on. You guys have no idea, no idea how shitty all these people are. But they put up such a pretty face, don't they, online? They're like, "Oh, Black Lives Matter," and "Oh, Harvey Weinstein is so horrible. Oh, these cops, blah blah blah." And then you go to them though personally for a very specific thing that like literally revolves around all that, and they're like, "Oh, you know what, we're out of funds and we have to be very particular on what we do." And it's like, but then now you're saying stuff, but oh my god, nothing pissed me off more than ACLU sitting there fighting the courts, whoever they went into, to keep the SOL. I'm like, are you crazy? They're like, "Well, we need to let them rapists have their rights." It's like, no, there's no need to have a time limit. There's literally none. And they're sitting there fighting against us. I'm like, that's ACLU. They're not on your side. They pretend they are, and then they go, "Oh, we're out of money." That's the shit that they do. But anyway, there's a lot of people I've been dealing with this and this. This topic, because everybody looks at homeless people like they're like less than human, like they're dumber than they are, like they're more mental than they are, like they're doing drugs that you're not. You know what I mean? Like just all this shit. And it's so crazy, and I cannot deal with these people anymore. I cannot deal with these people anymore. I cannot. I'm done. I'm done. This mentality is so gross. I was not raised this way. I don't know where this came from. It came from you guys. I don't know. I can't even answer it because I just can't, because I came out to be a better person, a way the fuck better person than these son of a bitches. And you would not hear me saying any of this stuff. None of this stuff. I literally, when I first came out here, had to meet a tank of homeless people, and one of them was a vet. Was a fucking vet. I'm sitting here going, this guy's like the nicest guy in the world, and he trusts me, dude. He's like showing me all his money. This guy is like showing me all his money. He's like, "Yeah, I just don't want to have, I don't want to deal with any of this stuff, blah, 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 blah." Granted, sure, he may have PTSD from him fighting the war, but he was nice. He didn't do anything. He's not a criminal. He's not any of these things, and he's just doing his thing, and thank God that I'm a good person, because somebody would have jacked that ass with what he was showing me. But anyway, he was going on this whole thing with me, and you people, all you tell me who all your homeless friends are. You won't befriend any of them, will you? No, because you're trash. Like, I have no problem, you know what I mean? Because if they need something and I'll get it. I literally had this woman. Oh my god, she was on that Blair channel, and I don't know, did I put this on a video? I know I was taping one. I don't know if I actually put it up, but I could not believe this woman. She's like, "I went to go buy this homeless person something, and then they asked me to buy them cigarettes." I'm like, "Well, did you buy them cigarettes?" Hell, the nerve that they asked me. It's like, what the fuck, dude? They're poor. Don't help them if you don't want to help anybody. You know what I mean? I don't see anything wrong with that. You have to ask people for the thing that you need. You're going to be offended by that. This bitch would not be offended by demanding me to do something for her. Trust that, because I have so many people demand to use me for all sorts of shit. So, no. When I came here, I had a tank of money, and everybody used me, and they took it all. So I don't even want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. And you wouldn't hear me bitching about it because someone asked me to buy them cigarettes because they're literally living on the street. I mean, I would expect, them to ask for something. And it's not up to me. It's not up to me what they need. It's not up to me. I'm like, sometimes I ask them, I'm like, "You want food?" They're like, "No, I don't want food. I want $1 because I know you're probably going to go drink." Fine. Then if I give my $1, I'm going to know that they're going to do it. At least they're going to be happy for the next moment, right? More happy than other people. You know what I mean? At least that moment. The way that people think about this stuff is just insane. Stop talking about homeless people like they're infants and they're like different from the rest of society. That's just the poorest class right there. And being the most abused. I know the most about this situation, and these organizations are literal trash. Literal fucking trash. And they're blowing money out the ass. And that's why they say $4,000 a head. Because that's what they're doing. They're getting all this money from fucking celebs, and then they're burning it. They're ignoring the people that they're so-called claiming to help, and then pull this shit. It would have been, I mean, I would have been happy if someone just threw me a couple, $2,000. We're asking for $2,000 for UBI. Give me $2,000. Get the fuck out of my face. I'm not an infant. I don't need you in my fucking face. How about you guys have not been so corrupt to have the system the way it was and throwing people out in a fire? It's crazy, but nobody cares about us being in a fire. I find it amazing. I didn't have any fucking, oh my God, are you okay? No, I literally flew out half naked in this fucking thing as the cops left me in it. I swear to God. And it's just like, there's a video somewhere because you know it. Because Bel Air and the place where I was at, I know how security. That is literally at the Getty. And I'm sitting there like, okay, well, you could see that there's a police right there, and you could see there's a guy with a dog. Can you see that they ever came and got me? No, they didn't, and then they left. So, and they were there for over 45 minutes. A minimum of 45 minutes. They were there before 45 minutes. So that tells you how long they had to come and get me before the fire came. And so to throw me in this situation and then put some video out like this, you don't know why everybody's out there. There's been a tank of fires where people literally lost their homes over the past couple years, and they literally lost everything, and government here has zero fucking things to help them. I swear to God, during that fire, they made this guy think that they had all these things set up for him. And he finally tells me at the end of it, he's like, I thought so too, but no, they're literally throwing me out like with everybody else. And I'm like, what the hell? Oh my God. So many people, dude. You don't know. There's fires all across California right now. They're going to be in the same, they're going to be worse off right now. Because they were not giving even hotels. I'm like, how do you throw people out in the street during a fucking fire? How do you do it? That's what they did. That's why they're not helping you guys in this with the stimulus or anything. So it's not even just limited to these poor people. It's to the 99% of people who are not rich motherfuckers. Because they want you all dead, dude. They want all your money. That's basically it. They don't care about you. I don't know what else to say about it. They don't care about you. I don't know why people think that they do. Because there's nothing in this reality that showed you that government gives even a fucking shit about you. None. Zero. Zilch. And doing this thing, oh, we're only going to help them out for a month at a time. Really? We're in 2020. I cannot believe I'm still dealing with this situation from the time I first came here. It is LA County. It is LA County. It is so corrupt. And they're pieces of shit, dude. And they literally got 10 times worse. Like, I don't even know 10 times worse. They got 1,000,000 times worse from the time I first came. Because at least when I first came, you didn't get that massive hate coming at you. Like, they didn't go, oh, how dare you ask me for a cigarette? No, people would buy you a fucking carton if you asked. That was the time then. It's very different now. Today, you're going to probably get shot because someone's going to go, you should get a fucking job, fuck you, and, That whole thing, the mentality is so different. It is so different. Like, there's things that were worse then, but as far as the mentality of people, you know how, like, the extremist Christians back then, they actually, like, I would say, like, more of them actually were more like, oh, we gotta help people. They're a little bit more then, a little bit more. I'm not gonna say a lot more, but a little bit more. No, today it's about, you need to get a fucking job. I'm like, that's not Christianity. You guys need to get fucking thrown into a mental ward. I don't know what the hell that shit is. I don't. I don't have words for it because there's literally no church that I know that you would go into and the pastor's like, if some homeless person asks you for money, you tell them to fuck off. Like, I literally don't know where this is at. But if that's going on, they need to be shut down. Okay? Because that's a hate group. I don't know where this is coming from. I don't. I really don't. That's not in any teachings, and so that's a different thing. And we're not religious for a good reason. So this I swear to God, we're literally in August. We're literally in August. I don't even want to talk about the homeless thing because nobody should be homeless at all. But here's the thing: we're literally in August, and government hasn't given anybody a stimulus. There you go. There's the $200 from the GR. That is from the Dems. You're pulling up LA County. LA County is Democratic ran. It is all Dems. Why are they just now and they're not even paying for it? Who did he say in this clip that's paying for it? A different FEMA or something. That's not LA County. What the hell is LA County doing with their money? Oh, they're human trafficking women. That's what they're doing. And this casino shit. Where's all that money? Where's all that money? Where's all this money? Where's this filthy money that LA County has? What are they doing with it? Explain. Where is it? They're blowing it. How are they able to have mansions, dude? How are they able to buy these $1 million homes? This is the money that they don't want out of their own pocket to fucking help the people here. And they all of a sudden come up with all this money to start changing the areas into tourist attractions. Like, what is that? Lakes in Lenox. I mean, what the hell is that? Oh, well, these developers. Oh, you know what? The thing that people need here is housing, okay? Housing. So the only thing you guys should be doing is building housing. Nobody needs any more stadiums. Nobody needs any more fucking tourist places. Nobody needs any of this shit. This area, this doesn't need any more. No more. And the wonderful thing is I don't know, most people may not even be able to go out anymore. We may be living like the Jetsons in a fucking bubble, dude. So all that money is going to be wasted. Who's going to be going there? I'm not going to any fucking gatherings like that till there's a damn cure for this. And also, and they said that then there's going to be other mutations of this stuff, and we're going to get more different types of things like this in the future. I don't know how we're supposed to live. So I mean, you're sitting there reading this homeless thing. It's like everybody's going to go homeless, dude. Oh man. There's so much I want to say right now, but I can't because I don't want to give these people energy. There's a lot of bad stuff. So, yeah, no, government doesn't care that we're not making money right now. The government already targeted my job before this happened. It's like, oh, let's just ignore that. Them targeting my job has nothing to do with mental illness either, by the way. Yeah, that was fun. And yeah, no, then they hacked into my website, but two websites actually, two. They crawled into my WordPress and removed the one single story that was about them. Yes, like that wasn't obvious. And then the other one, they put the terrorist got my my band site, which was and I went and looked into this because I was like, wait a minute. It was a cheesy little page that they put up, and it had a like some stupid thing on it, but it was fake. It was fake. So they did that, and so they're trying to be like government sitting here allowing this to happen. Like when you hack, you're supposed to get arrested, but you know what I mean. Government just sits there and lets it happen, thinking it's funny, and then they'll try to blame some random person when it's totally not. Just both my accounts, just like even on Twitter, both my accounts, my work account, my music, the same two things that are tied together. Yeah. So we already talked about how the right-wingers are targeting me as well, where they just got caught, and I saved that, and I showed you guys, well, I told you guys who they are, or I thought I did. And then now today, I don't know if it's just that Jack finally is getting wind of it and he's finally realizing what the hell's going on his platform. But now he removed one of them. Not that guy, I don't think. But they removed the other fool. He's a QAnon piece of shit. And thank God, because I think he touches children. I think that guy actually does touch children, that Bill guy, whatever his name is. But yeah, they went and removed him, and he's off, whatever, and good, that's what you get. But anyways, the people that would be targeting me are those type of people right there. That's one group of them, and those people are on the side of the cops. The cops are with them. The cops are sitting there being QAnon and all sorts of stuff. And the DOJ's like, oh, you should know that this is happening out there. So just beware. Just beware that this is happening out there. And then does nothing about it. You just beware that the KKK is in your police department. Just beware. We just want you to know that. But we're not going to do anything about it. That's the DOJ. They continually do that. We know that there's rapist cops out there and they may be serial killers, but we're just telling you about it. Just beware. And then you go and tell them about it and they're like, yeah, but we're just not going to make any arrests. It's like, why tell us about what's the point of even mentioning it then? I don't this government is like the biggest joke in the entire universe. I'm telling you, there's other countries in this world that are a million times better than America. People are so stuck and narcissistic on themselves here. We're going to end here. And Kyle, please don't, you know what? Don't even speak on these topics. I actually regret even asking him for many years to please talk about the please portions of this, please. But I already know this is how it's going to come out. It comes out in the same repetitive fashion that men always do. So, like, men will say, oh, women always lie, right? And it's not true, right? But they'll have this whole thing that they made up, and they just repeat it for decades, and they don't even know why they're repeating it. And it's the same thing with this homeless thing. Like, there's this whole bad, hateful viewpoint on a group of people. If you're looking at a group of people like they're different than you, that is a problem, and you need to work on yourself. Yeah, because I'm sitting here listening, and it's basically Kyle talking down to me. Talking down to me. No, that's not happening. No. He's not more educated. He's not more anything. He may know more about politics, but fuck politics. You know what I mean? Like, how far are you going to go in life when you know something, but you can't really do anything or make any changes? And if you're spewing out all the wrong information to people, then, yeah, you're just going to keep fueling the same problems over and over again. Yeah, well, I am going to tell you right now that I represent probably the majority of people in that situation. The majority, because the media does not care to talk to people like us. They want to show some bullshit and be like Fox and go into a subway station and talk to all the poorest black people that are, like, having addiction problems that are out in the open in that situation and paint quite the messed up picture. Do we not all remember them talking about rice and beans and how, like, that should be such a great thing because what's her face would look great in a bikini, like being all thin from eating that way? Yeah, that's disgusting. Like, they were trying to praise not having enough money for food. Just mentality. But that's no different than what they're saying, because if he's saying something like they're different, the way that okay, listen, this is the better way to say it. If you listen to Kyle talking about a group of people that he doesn't associate with, that is lesser than and different than him, that they must be ill. There's a lot of them who are ill. He did try to catch himself there then and go, just in general, people need health care. It's like, yeah, you don't need to target a group of people, because I can do the same argumentation on all of you guys. All of you guys in New York are hella mental, dude. You guys have mafia running around there too. So, you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole thing going on over there. I mean, are you too scared to tackle that? I mean, I'm legitimately tackling those similar issues here in LA County. Yeah, I have to be my own journalist. Because if I go to the media, and the media lies to me, and has me give them a story, which they did, and the demand in this was to give out my legal name, which would put my safety in jeopardy, or not run the story at all. And so here you have a dilemma. It's like, well, either what is more important, the story getting out or me getting shot and killed? I guess we'll just take the chance of getting shot and killed, and we're going to put the story out because this may be the only time. So then what happens? So no, this is really what's at the table here. So then I give them the story, And she made this demand, okay, even knowing, I told her, I go, number one, the public knows me by a different name. Two, and so nobody's gonna know what they're talking about if they put this other name anyway. But two, I have safety concerns, so if you put that other name on it, it flags these people. So then, and some of them already knew where I was at. That's why they left me in the fire. So three, so I give it to him, and she tells me, she's like, we don't run stories unless we put that in there. So she started using that same debate that Trump and the right wing does, where they don't like whistleblowers, and they out me the whistleblower. So I haven't been protected in that. That was actually something that was on my account, and I put it there because they already outed me. So, if you're going to out me, then, you know what I mean? We're going to be out and proud as a whistleblower. And we are getting retaliated against. So she knew that. That's what I'm saying. She knew that information. And so by doing that, and also there was investigation still going on. So it's like, hi, bitch. Like, but she's running herself as a Christian something. And no. And there was also other concerns with her too because of her background. So, but anyway, we took this risk, and here we go. So then she chooses on her own to omit the information that I gave her, which was the only reason why I agreed to do this in the first place. I would have never gave an interview if you're going to keep out the most important portion of the story. The most important portion of the story, which she did that. So all I have is when I send you guys to the link where they did the story on me, right? But there's major parts that she left out on purpose and then outed my name. And I'm sitting there going, why don't you bring up your notes again, or did you just like purposely just ignore those things that when I was sitting there telling you? Oh, and I chewed her out on Twitter before they started targeting me on there. But she doesn't respond. She's a so-called journalist. As I'm saying, anybody can put a tag journalist. I can actually call myself an investigative journalist, actually, because that's what I do. So we should just put that tag on us and finally get a blue check mark so I can finally get shit out here, properly. And those people are getting paid for stuff, and they're not in any danger. These are not people that put themselves in danger to write a story. These are people that write for the right-wing party and wants to paint something a certain way. Why she chose to omit that information, I don't know. The other guy, Wes, I actually was talking to him several times through this whole thing on my phone. And he chose to not run the story at all. Like, none of it. And like I said, his excuse, which is worse? I actually think that the Christian Monitor was worse in it because she actually outed my name and put that information out there and left the information out. Wes, on the other hand, from the Daily, he had me give him all that information. I gave him a lot. I offered to let him see the documentations that I had because I had them in my car. Like, I carry that stuff everywhere because all my, how my homes get broken into and these guys like to pilfer through all my stuff. So I want to make sure that I have all those documents. So, also because FBI was asking me, if they needed to get this audio from me, if that whole bullshit, if I was leaving the country, and then if they want to come and pop up on me whenever. So in case they need other information in regards to the other stuff, right? So I had that with me, and also for the sake of, I'm in the middle of a legal case, so I had all that stuff with me, so I was more than happy to share it with them, so they didn't think, I'm just some crazy person, like, making up some story. And so, and I'm aware of that. I'm totally aware of that. So it's like, no, I got my backup here. So if let me show it to you if you have any questions about that, and you could research it yourself. And he was going to, and then, I don't know what happened to him, and then he went and talked to somebody else, and then they just didn't do it. They're just like, oh, whatever, So that's on them. Like, they had something, and they're the ones that drop it. Like, that's not my fault. That's their fault. But he was trying to say, like, he didn't run my story because the area he was covering was Sylmar. And said that, because I'm the only lone person that nobody then should talk about me. And I'm a pretty serious person in this. So I'm a whistleblower. I was outed. I'm a victim. I'm also a witness. And they were also under investigation that was shot out by me. So that's why I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty big story. And you not running that, I have to question what the hell's going on with every single journalist that's out there. It's like, I don't know if it's just that these particular journalists just get their job to just go along with the flow, and they don't want to like write anything that's kind of like, yeah, some of these things can put your safety in jeopardy just from putting it out there, because then they're going to come back at them. And then LAPD lies in the media all the time. So, I mean, they're just going to make their dumb statements and then say some other bullshit. Don't ever believe anything they say, because they just make shit up as it goes, you know, and to be pigs. And then you find out later they lied. Now, even FBI too. I told you, I go, they're not trustworthy either. And the one guy just got in trouble for falsifying some stuff. I go, you have to be careful of all these guys. I mean, it's a big entity, right? So, I mean, you're dealing with, I mean, I don't know how many people work at the FBI, but every time you call, you're going to get a different person. So it's like every time I've called, it's always been a problem person and something's wrong, you know? And most of the time it's a guy, but typically on my first calls with these people, like any of these agencies, there's a woman involved, and the woman doesn't know anything that's going on in life. And then I end up with these agents and other people I'm speaking to, such as the other thing for the human trafficking case, where you know they transfer me, and then they have people calling me from these unknown numbers. You know what I mean? And so then we end up getting a call like that, right? With a weird message, and here they are. We're literally in the middle of the East Area rapist case, right? The Golden State Killer case, and I'm talking back and forth with them, and I'm supposed to talk to homicide, and then I get this weird call. Like, so I'd already emailed them, right? I already emailed the Sacramento sheriffs. Like, I kept all the documents of that. So I email them, and it sent me back a thing saying, you know, we get a lot of, I don't know, people are emailing them and stuff, and it said they were going to take some time. They might take a little bit of time to get to your stuff, right? So I didn't make a big old thing out of it for a while, and then I was finally like, you know, I need to talk to somebody, so I'm gonna I contacted the FBI, I think I don't know if it was at the same time or around the same time as that, but anyway, in the middle of all that, then I get this weird message, right? Then I get a new voicemail. And so and I almost missed it. This was the crazy thing on that message thing, and it freaked me out so bad because I heard it, and I heard a weird noise. I just heard this weird noise, and I was just trying to figure out what the noise was. And I put it on a speakerphone and I taped it, and then I noticed it was a real voice, and there was like a voice module on it. And so then I told them I the thing that I wanted to do with that is make sure that it wasn't this other stalker that we just figured out that I had another one. I was like, I didn't even know I had another one. The person that left me those texts, I don't know what I thought at the time it was happening. I just remember being online, and I was thinking like, this must be somebody I knew or something weird once, and they're totally messing with me, and maybe I don't really know. And for some reason in my head, I was just like, somebody's messing with me. That's what's going on here. Somebody's messing with me. Like, that's what I was thinking. And then I saved it, because I always will save those, and I will contact it at a later date. So at this time it was 5 years later. So the guy wouldn't have any clue, you know what I mean? So, but when I looked into it, they said that the name that was under it wasn't the name that I saw when I was actually researching the person as they were texting. And I was like, I had a guy in mind that I was thinking like, there was these gatherings and stuff, and I was like, but I don't think I ever gave that guy my number. Like, why the hell would I give that guy my number? Like, I was thinking about this, but I was thinking like, maybe that guy got my number and he's just joking around. And that's who I kind of was. That was the only person I could even think of remotely, with maybe possibly the name that I saw that was selling a vehicle. But when I contacted that guy, he said that that wasn't his name, and I did look into him, and it was a different name. That's why I called, because I was like, oh, he must have got a new number, so this is a different guy. But no, that guy said he had the number at that time, so I was like, um, but the one possibility in that was when I was looking for the apartment, right? The apartment that we went after, that I had put an ad out, and this person may have got my number from there. They didn't know my name. See, they didn't say my name in the text. That was the one thing. I was like, he tried to say, oh, it must have been off of Craigslist. And I'm like, Craigslist? I don't put ads on Craigslist other than for apartments, right? But he made it seem like I put some singles ad out or something. And I go, no, I would be getting a million calls, and I would have figured that out, that somebody did that. And how would he know from 5 years later who I was when I'm calling from a whole different number from a whole different county? That was another thing to it. So then I was like, am I the only one he's stalking? Is he still stalking me? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. So this is a 5-year gap, okay? And I just randomly call out of the blue. I'm like, who are you? And so then this audio came after that. So that's why I was like, yeah, but I didn't even call from that number. So why would he still have that? You know what I mean? Like, this whole thing, unless he has his phone where he saves all his activity. My phone doesn't even save it from that long. I think it starts fading out after, like, I don't know, months to a year. So I don't know. I can't answer it. But that was the whole reason why I contacted the local police first, because I was like, I want to rule out this other stalker, and I don't know who that is either, and we need to figure out this bullshit. And then and nor does it make sense. Like, the message in it doesn't make sense. Like, other than being like, you're not gonna find out who I am type of shit, right? So I was like, yeah, but the guy, like, literally used a voice module or some weird shit on it. So you couldn't tell if he was, like, 80 years old. It was just, like, I don't know what the hell that is. And then there was a couple other things with it where it was right around my dad's birthday and on that Thursday, which was related to the East Area Rapist case. So I was like, okay, we did get calls in 86. So if you're talking about being really confused, that right there, had I not called the other guy right before that, I would have known 100% that it was definitely the serial killer. But because that other thing, it made it like, I don't know. But then they refused to look at it locally, and then I had to tell the FBI because they were getting ready to erase it off my phone because AT&T only holds it for like 14 days. And I'm like, I don't know where it came from. So I call AT&T. AT&T's like saying things like, you know what a burner phone is? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, they could have used a burner phone and all this like weird stuff. And so that I would have had to do, they asked me to send him a thing through to the main office. I would have had to write something in to the main office to get more information, which there's no promises that they would have gave me any further information on that particular call. So that's something like FBI can do. They can go look into that, which it doesn't sound like they did anything. So they asked to come and get that audio, but then they never actually got it. So, but I put it up, so I don't know if it's just one of those things where, like, do they really need to come and get it from me? Like, it's one of those things where they can hear it, and they know my phone number, and then they can go look into it. So, now, whether they did that, it doesn't sound like it, because nobody's telling me who the creepy stalker is. Like, regardless of who it is, because then that could be an LAPD cop as well, right? So, we have this other thing going on. So, nobody's given that information. So the other guy was located in Santa Monica, or Santa Barbara, Santa Monica, somewhere over there. Anyway, so I called that department. So they told me I had to first deal with the local person, and then if it was related to him, then I would go deal with that. So we didn't even get to go there, and then FBI didn't go pick. Oh, and FBI was talking about picking it up while I'm in the fire. So I'm like, I don't know how that happened. Like, so all this is going on, and I get left in a fire, and FBI is just sitting there like, la, 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 like this. Yeah, that's why I'm like, no, I literally was talking to you guys. And then after that, and this is the crazy thing, so then after that, that's when that Visalia plate ends up by my car. Can you guys explain all this to me? Because that's crazy shit. That's crazy shit. And they didn't even know who he was yet. They didn't even arrest him yet. This was literally a month or two before he was even, they even did a DNA anything. And I'm sitting there going, okay, but the chances of this right here happening, government is purposely keeping me out in the gutter, and I'm in the middle of a big lawsuit, and I got a serial killer running around and possibly another stalker. So can you guys not lead me in fires? You know what I mean? So yeah, if you're literally talking with government, and then all these series of events happen where you almost die, and they're like sitting there like with their back turned like, we don't know anything that's going on. Well, you wanted to get an audio from me. Wouldn't that be hard if I was like burned up in the fire? Bizarre. So I don't know who that person is. That's another question, is like, is this person a different government person maybe that's fucking around because they know about the other case? Could it be? Possibly. Possibly, yeah. They haven't done shit. They literally, I mean, how do you leave me in a fight? Nobody came to even pretend to be a civilian to help me out of there? You know what I mean? Anything? Like, I don't know how this happens. You tell me how this happens. But we don't talk to them. Like, it would have to be by force. They would have to, like, forcefully try to talk to me, and we're gonna get legal. Because this bullshit right here, where they were, like, getting information from me, and then asking me stuff, and it's like they knew damn well I wasn't leaving the country. They were making this comment because of my Twitter. So then it made me think that Twitter and Jack and FBI were fucking around, because I'm literally talking to them, and their whole objective is to get extremists, you know, like these other people off the platform, right? Well, that's on me. I mean, I'm not Snowden, but you could look at some of the situation as a similar thing here. So I didn't run to Russia, but they were asking me, like, they were literally asking me this. That's why I'm like, oh yeah, then I'm gonna jump on a plane, I'm gonna go hide in Russia, and I'm gonna go hang out with Putin for this shit right here. So you know what I mean? I mean, that might be a better gig. Maybe I should have. I wouldn't have told them. Are you kidding? So it's just like, this is just getting ridiculous. This entire thing. And then when I get here, the other crazy thing, then I get here and I get targeted here. And everybody's playing dumb. Like, I'm just sick of people. Like, you guys do not know what's going on in this world. That's all I'm saying. You guys don't. You don't. And I keep trying to explain this, but you just don't. But you believe it if it comes out of the mouth of a man. You definitely do.